Welcome to another RSR. Tonight we are recapping the 2023 Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League draw. Sorteo de la Liga de Campeones de CONCACAF de Scotiabank 2023 reaction. Big draw. Good draw, honestly. But very interesting. Very quick, too. Took less than an hour. Just over 30 minutes. Very interesting. Here are the ties, though. Match 1. Austin FC of the USA versus Violet AC of Haiti. For me, this is honestly about as good of a draw as Austin could have gotten to get into CONCACAF Champions League. This is a very good draw. But it doesn't really tell you how good Austin really is. Because they got to beef up their team in the offseason. Josh Wolff has a good team. He does. But they have to beef up that roster, that depth in the offseason. If they do that, they could have a great CONCACAF run, but they'll still go to the quarterfinals. This was a great draw because this isn't predictions, but Austin FC has the talent to rip Violet up and down. Side to side, up and down, all around the world, spin them around like a pizza pie, like that's amore. Simple as. Though the losers may try, no one makes pizza pie like the whammy. Like that. But, honestly, yeah, Violet just did whammy out. Any draw would have been hard for them, but I think Austin's a type of team that you may be like, yeah, they're debutants, but they're damn good. Right? Driussi, multiple goals in this tie. Hell, assists too. His points for this tie will probably be +5. I would actually probably take that as a bet, as a parlay. 5 goals and assists for Sebastian Driussi in this tie. Together. 5 points, if you want to go the hockey terms. +5. Over 5. Hell, if you want to go 5.5. Make him have to get 6. I'd go over. I'd still go over. With this tie, Austin got a really damn good draw. Violet got screwed. I mean, nothing's really good for Violet, honestly. But it could have been better if it was like Vancouver or Atlas or Orlando or Leon right now. But Austin, they're very dynamic. I think that's a bad draw for Violet. Great for Austin, though. Match 2, Club Leon in Mexico versus Tauro FC of Panama. Leon haven't been great. Weren't even in Liguilla, right? Not this year, no. They, of course, were the finalists against Atlas in the Apertura 2021. But Leon, it just seems like it's not going well. Another new coach. Things are definitely not all happy at El Glorioso Estadio Leon. It's not happy. It's not. Tauro FC, though, is still a team they can beat. Just like Guasatoya last year. They're not facing an MLS team, but they can't in the first round because it's a Mexican team in that big team spot in pot 2. But again, you look at it, it's like, okay, this is beatable. Even if Leon's crap, like completely crap, this is beatable. So it's the question of what happens when they get to, very likely, that's quarterfinal in this quartile, the bracket, is Austin Leon. That's where it really comes to question who built their team up better. You have a team who made the Western Conference Final in MLS. You have a team who has been struggling, right? I'm not making predictions. I'm going by chalk right now, okay? I'm just saying. You still know the route of this draw. Very likely Austin beats Violet. Still likely that Leon beats Tauro. It's not like they got one of the bigger Central American teams. They got the second best losing quarterfinalist in CONCACAF League, and they still got through by the skin of their teeth. So, I think this is handleable. even if Leon sucks. But it's after where this could turn into another Leon moment. So, not bad for the round of 16. You will probably go deeper. But that's just relative. Frankly. Match 3, Orlando City SC of the USA versus Tigres UANL of Mexico. Winvo and Orlando fans, I'm sorry, but y'all are about to get your show ran. Now, there are some good players Orlando wants to get this offseason. But is it a Facundo Torres replacement type of getting good players, or is it to add to Facundo? Because if it adds, Tigres is a damn good team, don't get me wrong. But this could be closer. But if it's replacing Facundo, you're pretty much in the same situation you are now. Tigres is a damn good team in Liga MX. They're damn good. Herrera has them playing well. Andre Pierre Gignac is still Andre Pierre Gignac. They got Cordova playing well with Tigres. Nahuel Guzman, still Nahuel Guzman. Tigres is still a damn good team. They've been gone for a couple of tournaments in CCL terms. Orlando, though, this could be closer than I think, but I definitely think this is not what you wanted, Orlando. This is not what you wanted at all. Any other tie, you could be like, yeah, we could win. You got the big dogs. You got the big dog. And honestly, I don't know if it go well. Could it be closer? Maybe. But you got the big dogs. If I'm Orlando, I don't like it. Match 4, CF Pachuca of Mexico versus FC Motagua of Honduras. This could be interesting, but Pachuca's been very, very, very good over the past, since May. So, half of 2022, the 2022-23 season, but this whole year. So yeah, just calendar year. They've been good. They've been damn good. They absolutely stomped out Toluca. They're in next year's Champions League as well. Because, finalists. That's still the same. But they stomped out Toluca. They absolutely stomped out Ignacio Ambriz and Toluca, who beat America. Pachuca is damn good. And I don't think they get rated just yet. I think they still keep their team together for this run. And if they do, they're a top 3 favorite in my book. They're a top 3 favorite in my book. If they keep their team together right now, they're a top 3 favorite in my book. Motagua, they could stymie a team, especially at home, which may make the tie look more competitive. But trust me, it's not going to stay competitive when they get down to Pachuca. So it may be competitive through the first leg. Second leg, though, boy, just like Seattle earlier in the year. So that's the left side of the bracket. Now onto the right side of the bracket. Match 5, Vancouver Whitecaps FC of Canada, the Canadian champions. I hate it. Versus Real España of Honduras. Now this one is tasty. This one's tasty. This one's tasty because Real España were the Cinderellas of the 2022 CONCACAF League. And honestly, Vancouver is beatable. Beatable for Real España. This could go sideways for Vancouver, and I want to see it. Again, this is not predictions, but it can go sideways. Real España is a damn good team. Damn good. Ooh. Don't think this is a minnow you could easily beat Vancouver. I mean, you got your own problems. Your team's not the best. You got a couple of good players, but they're definitely not the best. Maybe Axel Schuster does what he needs to make this hope of Real España upsetting you nothing in the offseason, but let's be honest. Vancouver's Vancouver. I mean, Axel Schuster is a great GM. I'll admit that. But Vancouver is still Vancouver. Shouldn't you have been better than this? That's what y'all were saying. And y'all were basically pedestrian in MLS. Yeah, you barely missed the playoffs. You won the Canadian Championship on penalties because Bobby Bacala didn't have his team practice penalties, unlike he did for the Ford game. So, Vancouver, upset alert. Upset alert. If I'm putting this on a scale of an upset, I'm putting this at an 8. 8 out of 10. It's not completely obvious or a completely open upset, but it's definitely likely. I'm putting it at an 8 for an upset alert. We'll see what happens in the offseason, though. There's months in between this and the predictions and the actual tournament. This is why I'm just talking about the matches. So, 8 out of 10 for me on the upset alert here. I think it's very likely that there's an upset on this tie. I want to see it, not going to lie. I know Real España is a damn good team. You might not, but I do. So, let's just see how this turns. With that being said, match 6. LAFC of the USA, the 2022 MLS Cup champions. Congratulations. Facing LD Alajuelense, the 2022 CONCACAF League runners-up. This will be good. LAFC likely is going to win, but it's still going to be a good tie. Out of a tie that we know the situation, I think this will still be a good tie. It should be very interesting. Alajuelense still has a great team. Now, of course, Brian Ruiz won't be at this Champions League tie, of course. He's retiring on both sides of the coin, internationally and club football. Celso Borges will probably be gone. Johan Venegas will still be there, but they still got a good young team and some very good players besides the big historical players. And if Leonel Moreira stands on his head, this could be closer than what I expect. Even closer than I expect. So with that being said, it's going to be an interesting tie. It's two good teams. Two good, determined teams against each other over 2 legs. Once in Costa Rica, once at Banc of California Stadium. I can't wait to see it. This may be the best tie of the round of 16. Orlando versus Tigres may be the 2 biggest teams altogether in the round of 16, if you put them together in a tie. But this may be the best played, or the best dogfight of a tie. You know, sort of thing. That type of thing. So I'm very interested to see how LAFC versus Alajuelense goes. It should be very interesting. I think we know who wins, and I'm not saying there's very big likelihood for an upset here, but it should be interesting even without the upset likelihood. Match 7, Atlas FC of Mexico versus CD Olympia of Honduras, the 2022 CONCACAF League champions. Atlas, what happened? What happened? My God, you're horrible. Things have changed down there. Diego Coca gone, new manager in. Y'all suck right now. And honestly, you may have just pissed away your best era. It may just be over. You could lose to Olympia. No joke. There's a possible upset here too. I think there's a possible upset for the MLS teams, and there's a possible upset for the Mexican teams. And Orlando's not an upset. It's not. I'm talking Vancouver, Real España, and then Atlas Olympia. This is definitely an upset alert as well. It depends on what happens in the offseason for Atlas. And they have a month of games, month and a half, 2 months, no, January. So yeah, 2 months of games to see if they build back up and get better. But even then, again, there's time between when the actual predictions for this tournament, in my book, come out and the tournament actually starts than me just talking about these ties. But right in the moment, this is an upset alert. The sirens should be going off. Atlas is in a pickle right now. Yes, they beat Real Salt Lake, but honestly, Olympia is better than Real Salt Lake, if I'm being honest. But they just made the playoff. No, Olympia is better. In my book, I don't have a ranking metric yet like the JP poll to tell you who actually is better, but I would actually bet that Olympia is probably higher in that poll. If I'm going all CONCACAF, I would bet. And Hot Loss is definitely closer to Olympia than we might want to admit. So, with the power rankings, a power ranking poll. I don't have it made yet. I need to. And also for a methodical analysis of betting lines and stuff, again, like the JP poll. But with that being said, upset alert. Seriously, Atlas is in trouble. They're not doing good right now. It's Mayday. It is a Mayday situation up there, or down there. And Olympia might just be able to capitalize with how good their team is and the way they play, and Pedro Troglio being profe. They can capitalize. This definitely could be an upset. I'd say about 7.5 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 for upset alert. It's definitely likely. And then finally, match 8. Philadelphia Union of the USA versus Alianza FC of El Salvador. I think we know where this one's going, but it also should be very interesting the way to see each team play. I think Alianza playing against Philly is a very interesting tie. The way they play the game against each other. A good drilled team who can go forward versus Philly, who's the team is a star mentality. I think it's very interesting. It's not one of the best ties, or it isn't the best, but it's one of the best. Let's put it like that. It's one of the best. It's very interesting. And I like the possibility of Philly should win. There's not really any possibility of an upset here, but Philly should win. And I don't think that really changes. Even if Philly loses some players, they will replace. They'll do what they have to do. Jim Curtin will figure some out. I'm not worried about that if I was a Philly fan or just looking at Philly in general. But this should be a very interesting tie. I'm very interested in the match between Alianza and Philadelphia. It should be very interesting, very fun to watch. Alianza's got a good team. They got some players. Philly's got that team as a star mentality with multiple stars on their team, and they got a chip on their shoulder. After what happened in MLS Cup, they got a chip on their shoulder. And we could possibly get an LAFC Philly semifinal. Legit. I want to see it. And I think Philly wants it too. They saw that draw, and I bet some of those players are sitting there like, oh, we could play LAFC in the semifinal of the CCL to get to a final? Give me some of that. I think anybody looked at that and it's like, yeah, we want some revenge. We could get it pretty quickly in another big trophy if everything goes to plan. Nice. I bet that was a thought process. That's going to be good if that ends up happening. And I honestly think it does. Right now, where we sit, I think it happens because LAFC should beat Vancouver or Real España, and Philadelphia should beat Atlas or Olympia. It should happen. So, very interesting where this could go on that right side of the bracket. Oh boy. That's something. That is something. And that could be big. That could be legitimately big. And I can't wait to see it. And I'll be here, don't worry. With that being said, those are my thoughts on each tie of the round of 16 of the 2023 Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League, La Liga de Campeones de CONCACAF 2023 Sorteo reaction. Wonderful tournament, wonderful tie. It's going to be good to see this tournament start. We'll see you in March. The first legs are in March. It's not a Valentine's Day week start no more. It's going to be March. And the last leg's on like June 4th. The final game is like June 4th or something. On a weekend, too, the second leg. I think that sounds about right? I think that's what I saw. But with that being said, can't wait to see this tournament start. It's going to be fun. The draws look great. The ties look great. The whole bracket looks great. Can't wait to see it start. So with that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that bell notification. Hit that subscribe button. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlists. shares for friends and family, all that great stuff. I will see you sometime this week for the Canadian roster announcement for the World Cup. I'll talk about that roster. Probably talk about other CONCACAF rosters as well this week during the World Cup break. And then, of course, on Friday, you have Canada versus Bahrain. Friendly. The MLSers playing Bahrain. I'll be there for that as well, live and review. It's going to be early, but I'll be there. Don't worry. Should be very good. But we have a little bit of a packed week, even though it's a break. We still have a little bit of a packed week. With that being said, I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace.